Welcome to the Xceleration Fitness Podcast. I am Ben Boudro, and my co-host.
I am John Papp, and this is episode number 22, I'm pretty sure, off the top of the dome.
Yes. So what we're going to do today, guys, what we do always, is in 30 minutes or less, we are going to pick apart a transformation of a very awesome and special person. And today, that special and awesome person is Miss Janis. Janis, say hello.
What's up, Janis?
Hi.
How are you doing?
So
I'm good.
Little story about Janis. She really is one of the she really started Xceleration. I'll put it that way, because when I first came to Xceleration, we had 0 clients, and her son was playing football at the time, became one of the first clients ever. So her paycheck definitely helped Xceleration get to where it's at. So a lot of people owe Janis a big thank you.
You're very welcome. You helped him too, so.
Yeah. Not only that, though, today's story I know is going to be phenomenal for a lot of you listeners out there, because her transformation, not only physically but mentally, just as a mom, I'm very excited to get into this, guys. So what John and I'll do, ask her 7 questions to kind of deconstruct how she transformed her body, her mind, and what she did with her fitness. Sound good, guys?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to kick it off with the first question. So, Janis, what was your biggest transformation this past year?
Always the initial weight loss is great. The difference in my clothes fitting for sure. But the most important part is that I'm just stronger and more confident. I can do things that I never, ever could imagine that I could do now.
Like what?
I did my first box jumps this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw you jumping on boxes the other day.
It was absolutely terrifying, but so empowering. So it was very cool.
But you did it.
I did it.
It was awesome.
I couldn't move the valve slides when I first started there. I could not move them at all. And now I do it without thinking. It's just,
Heck yeah.
just amazing things that my body really can do once you get out of your own head.
So even though you're not really supposed to focus on the scale that much, can you give us some numbers on like what's changed body-wise, some like just stats?
Sure. I've kept off 27 pounds.
Wow.
Kind of goes up and down a little bit, but that's okay. My jean size is the same, which is great. I went down 2 jean sizes. I can't tell you the overall inches because it does go up and down, but probably about 5 inches off my waist, 4 or 5 inches off my hips.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
And how long a time did you lose the 27 pounds and the 5 inches and the inches off your waist?
I lost most of it in the beginning. I lost the 20 pounds probably within the first 2 challenges that I did. I lost almost 10 pounds in the little 3-week challenge. That was my initial experience of all this. And that's where I started to lose. And then I really lost a lot in the beginning and pretty much plateaued now, which originally was frustrating, but I've accepted it.
Well,
it's maintenance.
Exactly.
You also just said something before we started too, is that you've never done a box jump before and you could never imagine doing those. So oftentimes in transformations, the scale stops moving, but other things are happening. And if you don't take notice, you can be missing them. So, I mean, not being able to move the valve slides to doing box jumps is a huge, huge accomplishment.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
excited
cool.
to see what it does in the softball field this year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hitting some dingers.
All right. John, you want to take it to question number?
Yeah. All right. So second question here. So what is maybe a failure or a tough spot that you kind of gone through in this journey that, was really tough when you were there, but it ended up helping a lot?
I would definitely say focusing too much on the scale was really a huge issue for me because I wanted a number and I wanted it bad and really felt I could get there. It wasn't a crazy number. I wasn't trying anything extreme. I was being realistic. Actually, because I did the DEXA scan, I won it actually last year. Best thing I could ever done because it put literally my whole life into perspective. I am a muscular girl. I have been my whole life. My bones are heavier than everybody's, so the number that is reality for somebody that's my height or, just being a woman is totally unrealistic for me. So doing that DEXA scan put everything into huge perspective for me. So then when I realized that the actual number, what my body should be, was put it way, definitely in range for me. So I really wanted that number and I really wanted it. And then I couldn't get it. And I started to get angry and discouraged and figure, then why am I even doing this? Because it's not working. But then many of our members, which are amazing, put it out there and, it was the non-scale victories. And it is. I am so much stronger than I have ever been. I feel leaner. I get so many compliments of how I look now. And it has nothing to do with that number. So that was my biggest thing. So once I stopped focusing that I'm not at that number that I felt I should be in a year, I still work just as hard. And like I said, I'm stronger and I can do things. I had to get out of my own head. I had to get out of my own head and just be like, that number doesn't matter. And you can do this. You can do this box jump. Just try. So once I got past that, it made me feel better. I felt a lot more confident and worked harder.
Awesome. Why do you think that started like that? Because that's what a lot of people do. Like, why do you think it all started with the number?
It's just, that's it. I mean, it's society, it's life, it's everything. And especially for a woman, I mean, it is, that number is a big deal, and especially when, well, you don't look like you weigh that. Hey, that's great. But in my own mind, when I step on that scale and I don't see that number I want to be in front, it's just such a horrible mental thing that you can't help it. I mean, it's just the way I think life is. It's reality that, everybody should be a certain number.
Yeah. And that's kind of the unfortunate part too, I mean, basically from the time you're a child, you're kind of taught that weight is like the be all end all. Like, I mean, everything from going to the doctor's office, the first thing they do, they take your weight and height. They classify people by overweight, underweight. It all goes back to weight, when in reality, that's not, the true tale of health and fitness and just wellness in general. It's, exactly what you're talking about with the DEXA scan, the body fat percentage, the visceral fat, all this stuff, the muscle mass that you can't see by just stepping on a scale. And it's just unfortunate that, in our society today, it is such a large part. But I think we are seeing it kind of slowly turn around with, DEXA scans becoming more popular. I mean, there's used to be, you couldn't do that kind of thing. You had no idea. So I think we're headed in the right direction. What do you think, Ben?
To clarify, so the listeners out there, you might be wondering, what the hell is a DEXA scan?
Yeah, guess we should start there.
Oh, hey, sorry.
No, I'm going to let Janis talk about her experience. You guys can know what it is. But the DEXA scan is basically, John mentioned it, 5 years ago, you had to be either an Olympic or professional athlete, or you had to get a doctor's note to get this special scan that really scans your true body fat. It shows you where your muscles at in your body. You basically lay on a bed, and I'll let Janis get into it and how it helped her, but it's one of the best things you guys can do. If there is a DEXA scan in your area, definitely take advantage of it. Janis, what did it do for you?
Like I said, it just put everything into perspective. Like I said, growing up, I've always been an athlete. So, I mean, I always had the muscle. It just happened to be buried under a little bit more the older I got. But going in, and he measured it, and I have a lot of muscle. I mean, way more muscle than I even ever thought I did. My bones are heavier than most people. Just things that genetically I have that you can't change. Going to the gym is not going to change that for me. It's not going to make my lighter, and it's not good. I don't. I've got all that underlying part is working on it now and making it more visible. But it really, because I'm not supposed to have 140 pounds. I was very fit and very lean before life happened and having kids and stuff. But it put it into perspective that I'm not going to weigh that. And I'm not supposed to. My body, the way I'm built, I am not supposed to weigh that and to be healthy. I'm not supposed to weigh that and be healthy, so like, it was a realistic number. And I was like, okay. And it made it, reachable. I didn't have to think, oh my gosh, I have to lose 100 pounds to be 140 pounds. I don't have to. I really don't.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Brandon was there. He was great. And he put everything in perspective, explained everything. And it just explained literally the last 20 years of my life that there really is a big bone thing.
No,
there really
100%.
is, for that kind of stuff that I'd grown up my whole life and wasn't always comfortable with, but now I am.
And on that note too, if anybody is in the area, go talk to Brandon Long at Fit Body 360, and he's got the DEXA scan there. But if you're not in the area, some places, it's still not super popular, but you may be able to find a DEXA scan at any public university. So if there's a university near you, just reach out to someone, exercise science or maybe even the medical school, and try to see if there is a DEXA scan. And a lot of times, because it's a public university, you'll be able to get one through them. So if you don't have a place like Brandon's, that's how you can find a DEXA scan.
That's awesome, Janis. I'm glad you did that. I mean, you lost the weight, you lost those inches, and you discovered really who you are and why your body's the way you. And that's awesome. That's what fitness is. So I think the listeners out there can kind of get a little glimpse of who you are and what you've been doing. But if you had to, in one sentence, what is your biggest advice for anybody looking for a transformation?
I use this actually when in all these challenges that we do, because we post motivational stuff or things like that. And I think the biggest thing I used it was find your fire, but then you have to find something that will continue to fuel that fire. So that's where I'm at with that. I found my fire, and I found the place that fuels it.
What is that fire?
You have to want it. You have to want to work hard for it. It's not easy. It's not easy by any means whatsoever. You have to stick with it. And once you do, you start to see results, and then it just makes it even easier. And now it's just a habit. If you do it long enough, it becomes a habit. And I get up at 4 a.m. now to come to the 5 a.m. every day of the week. And
yeah, there we go.
If I don't, it's my habit. It's my fire.
That's awesome. All right. That was good. So
I want to go back to the 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Janis, let me ask you, 5 years ago, did you ever picture yourself waking up at 4 a.m. to go work out?
No, never ever. Because I had to work. I'd be too tired to make it through my work day. I don't know why people do that.
Were you working out 5 years ago or 10 years ago? Kind of give us a glimpse of that.
I've done, here and there, the little gyms. I did do there were some classes that were kind of cool. They were almost like, like a step class, but it had some running in it and had, so it varied from just you're being on the treadmill and doing, your boring stuff at the gym. And I say boring because when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. So literally, like most people, we go to Starbucks or anywhere like that. If you don't know what you're doing with the weights, you're walking the treadmill or you're doing the elliptical, maybe some of the weight machines, but you're not using it right. You're not getting out of it you should. So, I did a couple of things kind of like that on and off, but it was never anything I think I got.
Gotcha.
It was just a hodgepodge of everything when you're there.
Got it. Okay.
Good. All right. So next question here. So, looking back, what has been the best investment that you've made to, make this successful, whether it's, your time, a monetary investment, or, could be anything?
It's definitely Xceleration. It totally is. It's a place I want to go to every day. So that is my investment because I do pay to go, but I want to go every day. It's the members, it's the trainers, everybody just makes it so worth it. I got to give a shout out to my two girls. my workout buddies that are with me every morning at 5 a.m. We text. We hold each other accountable. Jack and Diana. We call ourselves J Cubed, even though Diana doesn't start with a J. But it's that. I mean, that is the biggest thing I could have done, because it keeps me. I mean, that's and so I get up at 4 a.m. and I go to work. I get to be with my friends, the members of being friends. I mean, you have to find that place.
Janis,
I invested in myself to go there.
I hate to do this because I don't want to ruin your train of thought, because what's coming out is perfect right now. Do you have a good signal where you're at? Just because I don't know about you, John, but it's coming in choppy.
Yeah, it's pretty choppy.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it says your message. Can I check my signal? Yeah, I mean, it says I have it. Wait, I'm right by my Wi-Fi too, but.
Yes. Okay. Is it?
I don't know. Yeah, I have. All right, hold on. Oh my bars. Can you hear me? Is it better?
Yeah, that's better. Actually.
Yeah, that's clear. Yeah.
All I did was move, but.
Well,
all right.
See if that works.
I just shifted in the chair, but.
I'll have John at that. But hey, I'm glad you said that, because you just brought up something I forgot to do in the beginning of this, and that is our client shout out of the week. And our client shout out of the week is definitely Diana. If you're listening to this, which I know you are, because you're Janice's biggest supporter, you are our client highlight of the week. If you guys are listening out there, Diana, just like Janis said, she wakes up at 4 a.m. She drives to the gym. And this week in particular, I'm not sure who did it. I think Janis is the culprit. They made tank tops that said, "I ain't you, Boudro."
I thought about wearing it, but.
You should have. Go into that, Janis, on why those were made. I'd love to know. Why those were made.
It actually all started back when I think a bunch of people were on vacation, so you were covering a lot of the classes. And so, we didn't see you much. And then suddenly you were having a couple of our classes, and we were a little terrified at first. And I said, he's going to call us out. He knows us all. And I said, well, I'm just going to look at him and say, "I ain't you, Boudro." So we decided to make shirts.
Yep, it worked.
I love it.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about, though, is you guys having fun together. I mean, just like I said, a lot of people listening out there will probably never think they are capable of waking up at 4 a.m. and driving to the gym, because they think it's going to be this 1 hour of pure hell that you're going to hate and you can't wait till it's done. It's the complete opposite when it comes to Janis, her friends, the results they're getting. I mean, they show up and it's like little giddy girls that like showing up to school together. Like, they're all excited to see each other. They talk about the weekends. That is honestly the shit to me. And that's a huge shout out to you, Janis, for that.
Thanks. And I just feel 4 a.m. is a heck of a lot easier than, I'm tired, but it's nice to come home at 5 p.m. and just be here and be done and know that I did it. And it holds me accountable all day. I didn't just get my butt kicked, to have pizza for lunch.
Nothing.
And how far is your drive to the gym?
Oh, not far. 10, 15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes, yep. But before, you had quite the long commute, right, when you started?
Yeah, yep. I used to live over in Shelby Township, and then I worked in Warren at 12 and Ryan, and we used to come in the evening. So I would come every night from 12 and Ryan to the 6 o'clock class, and then go home to Shelby Township.
That's a hike.
If out there isn't from Michigan, how far of a drive was that one way?
It's about 30 minutes. If you're not in traffic, if it's not snowing, or raining. So it's, it was not, sometimes the drive was worse than the workout.
I don't want to let that go, because I think that's a huge, huge, huge testament to you. 30 minutes one way driving to a gym. You could have done so many other things, but you said, screw it, I'm driving to the gym after work when you just worked a full day. Yet you still had the dedication to get in the car. And if you live in Michigan, guys, there's snow, there's shitty weather. You did that consistently. I mean, there are millions of people that would never dream of doing that, and you did that. So you need to be very, very proud of that.
Yeah. Me and my buddy Jack. I can't let Jack out of there too, because she still does it. She still does that drive every day. But now she comes early, goes home, and gets ready in Shelby Township, and then goes to Warren. So
it's my sister,
yeah.
man. My sister, if she doesn't,
Yep.
I kick her ass. She's doing that all while planning a wedding too, which I have to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but she's got a big day coming up, so that's why she does it.
All right, John. What is question number 4?
We just asked question 4. So question number 5.
What behavior or habit was the toughest to overcome at the beginning of your transformation?
This is the easiest question ever, because without a doubt, it's food and beer.
Yep.
It's just seriously food and beer was adapting to that. I mean, my son plays football, so the falls are filled every single Saturday with the best tasting but worst food, beer and everything, because it's a party. It's football season. So that was a huge adjustment for me.
Yeah, and you got to go support your son, and you got to deal with that. So, okay. So,
and I like to party.
yeah. I mean, let me ask you this. Is that completely gone now? Is that like you can't do that, or is it that you don't do that now? Or is it the mix?
Oh, no. No, it's a mix. I think it depends. It does depend on where my mindset is, at that time. If there's a challenge going on, kind of things like that. But it's still, it's definitely at a minimum now. It's usually Saturdays are usually my cheat day then, when it comes around that time for football. Then the tailgate is my cheat. Hours. But that's my life. I mean, I'm not gonna, yeah, I want this, but I want to be happy and have fun and still be able to enjoy a lot of things too. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna beat myself up over because I had fun at the tailgate on Saturday. I just go back hardcore again on Monday.
That's awesome. That's the best way to do it.
Everything in moderation.
Yep.
I just hope the listeners out there really hear that, because she's down 27 pounds. She lost the inches, and you can hear in her voice. It's not like she's, oh my God, I can't wait till the next, like I miss the tailgates. She's not deprived at all. She's living a happy life. She has great energy, and she's getting results. And it's, Janis, can you say, it's not as hard as you thought it was, or what do you think? Or was it
not anymore. Not anymore. Obviously in the beginning it is, but now like I said, it's same thing with going to the gym. Now it's just habit. Like it's become a part of my life. Like it's literally what I do every day. I plan for it, and it's okay. It just all works. You find that balance and make it work. And if fall off, go back.
Right. That's right.
Perfect.
All right, John. Question.
Right.
This is my favorite one.
Number 6. So, what is kind of, now that you've been through it, what is some bad advice that maybe you've heard in your own transformation or other people as they go through this?
I would say probably just the most common is, if you work out, you can eat whatever you want. You can still eat all that. Just go to the gym. And that's not even true. Not even with maintenance. That is just not an option. Even if you're maintaining, it does not matter. You can't eat whatever you want and then go to the gym and work that off. It just doesn't work that way.
Does not work.
This is a question I have for both of you guys. If you had to label it 1, 2, and 3, what is the first thing you need to have a transformation? Is it nutrition first? Is it workouts first? Or is it just the mental strength? If you had to label it 1, 2, and 3. John, you go first.
Okay.
All right. I would say mental strength, or the mental side of things, the habits and those kind of things, is number 1. Because without that, there is no healthy eating. Or consistent healthy eating. There's no consistent, going to the gym. Then number 2 would be nutrition, and then number 3 is the gym.
Okay. And Janis?
Okay, and then my theory is pretty much opposite. For me, just because starting off, I would say mine was a gym, because getting there was like the biggest step. And then because I did that, then my nutrition, because I was like, okay, I just did all that. Now let's get my food on point, which then brought in the mental part of it and brought it all full circle.
Wow, that's awesome to hear different perspectives.
What about you? What's yours?
Well, I think if it's a person out there looking for that transformation, what I can see is a lot of people listening to this, maybe they're in their car driving to work, or maybe they're on their way back from work. A lot of people have to get over the obstacle of having kids, having the busy lifestyle, and making time, which Janis said is just a priority. You schedule for it. You plan for it. So I think getting to the gym, like she said, is step number one. Because if you work out, say you do 2 workouts week number 1, and then you go and people are having burgers and beers on Friday, you're going to be like, God damn it, I just worked out twice though. Like, I don't want to waste that drive. I don't want to waste that time I spent at the gym. So I think number 1 is going to be the gym too. 2 would be the nutrition. And then I think 3 would be the mental strength, kind of call it your meditation, your Zen. I think that comes after you get the good food in your body and the workouts flowing through. So, John, you're wrong.
I would argue that you can't do any of those things without mental strength. But anyways,
that's true though. He's got a good point. John, do I have the next question or do you?
You do, yeah. Last one.
All right, Janis, are you ready for question number 7? This is the final question.
Sure.
When you fall off track, what do you do to get back on?
Well, I tell myself I didn't come this far. I'd only come this far. So get right back on it. Get to the gym back as soon as I can get to the gym, because that right there is like my first step. I know I made it back. Man, it was killer, but I did it. And then I'm going to home and I'm going to meal prep because I just got to get everything back on track. So get my classes scheduled, get my meal prep, and just get back out there. May only be 3 days the first week, but as long as I'm back, I'm back.
So you take
That's
action.
the routine.
So you take action. That's awesome. That's
yep.
Right. Have you guys heard of the flat tire method?
Yeah.
Right.
Just because you have one flat tire.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you're going to slash all 3 or all 4. Yep.
Yeah. This is good. John, what do you do when you get off track?
So I guess it depends. If we're talking nutrition, just exactly what Janis said. Like, make sure I meal prep and, make sure I plan ahead, because if I meal prep and plan ahead, then I know if it's there, if the healthy foods are there, I'll eat it. If it's in the gym and my own training, I think it's a little bit different from our perspective because, this is what we do. But I would say probably changing things up slightly, a very slight change, whether it's, the particular workout for the day or just some change usually can kind of spark it for me. What about you?
I want to go back to Janis because this is really interesting to me. In order to take the action of doing the nutrition, of doing that, like what is that fire? That's what I'm trying to find with Janis. Like, what is that real fire? And you mentioned it, how you've come this far, you've done this, but besides that, what is it like when you're sitting in your house? Like, what is it that drives you?
I guess just the change in myself overall. I'm not even talking physically, like just mentally, everything. I feel better. I feel better when I'm working out. I feel better when I'm eating right. And I know that if I get too far off of that, I feel like crap. Like like almost sick. Like I don't feel well. I have no energy. So then I don't want to do anything. I'm grumpy, which isn't fair to my family, so it just makes me a better person all the way around when I feel better about myself. And then that helps everybody else around me too. And I like to inspire people. I think it's cool. And I never thought I would be in this position either. It's the same thing it's seriously the same thing as I never saw myself. Yeah, I know I talk to people and I'm outgoing and, that kind of stuff, but I never saw myself as an inspiration. Because why would I? You know what I mean? I always felt like I was heavier, and how is that inspiring? And now I get it all the time, and I get like all my friends that don't go to the gym, things like that. They talk about like, oh my gosh, you're such an inspiration. I think it's great how you do all this stuff. And I'm like, what? But this is just what I do every day. Like, now this is just my life. I'm not looking to, to get that like recognition. It just happens. And so I think that's part of it too, is that I know that I've inspired other people. So get back out there. I'm not inspiring them by sitting on my couch. So I like to do that. I want people to know that they can do it. I mean, I'm not old, but I'm not young. And if I can do a lot of the things, there's a lot of people that can. So.
This is always a tough question for me to ask, but what is your age?
Oh, it's okay. I'm 43.
So you're 43 years old.
Yep.
Janis, you are an inspiration. I know a lot of people listening right now are hearing you and hearing how you transform your body, how you transformed your habits, how you transform your priorities. What I don't think you really realize is this. Your son, give the audience a little bit information on your son right now, where he's at. Bubba.
Okay. Bubba is my youngest son. He is finishing up his junior year at Adrian College. He plays football there. He's a D. He's been playing his whole life. And he started training at Xceleration, which is how I found out about it. He was doing the athletic training to get better in his high school career. He wanted to be quicker and faster, and actually, so when he learned so much stuff, which he is still using today. He then went on to they recruited him really hard at Adrian. He decided to go there. He has done amazing things. He was second team all defense last year as a nose tackle, which was pretty cool as a junior. And he's just trying to train and go hard and finish his senior year even better, aiming for first team. But he's just he actually inspired me, to be honest, as a 16-year-old kid at that time, very inspiring. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's a very hard worker. And he puts a lot of things into perspective for me. He's way beyond his years.
He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's a hard worker.
Yeah.
Janis, here's something that you probably don't realize, and me and John know because we've worked with him from high school through the college. When Bubba came back his second summer into college and started talking to us about nutrition, started talking to us about, working his ass off and, doing things for his body. Maybe it was last year, or I'm not sure exactly when. But when you started coming to the gym and you started transforming your life, Bubba came back a whole new person. John, can you attest to that?
100%.
So what you don't realize is you're inspiring your friends, your coworkers and that, but you are also inspiring the hell out of a college football player who happens to be your son. I'm telling you that right now, because the look on his face, the drive in his eyes when he came in was completely different when you started changing your life. So for parents out there listening, you listen to Janis, you listen to where she came from, transforming her priorities, transforming her schedule. Yeah, she got the results. Yeah, she got this, but listen to what she's saying. She feels better, but she also doesn't know just how much she's impacting her son's life right now. Because John, again, you can attest to this too. We see a lot of college athletes. They start and they have a good freshman year or a rough freshman year. The chances of continuing college and actually playing your sport and going all 4 or 5 years and not quitting is very, very minimal, unless you have somebody driving you and supporting you like Janis does for her son.
100%. And it's kind of ironic. This is the second week in a row that we've had someone say almost exactly the same thing, where, they were inspired or motivated by someone in their family. And I think a lot of people don't realize how big that can be. Jim Clements last week, and now you this week, Janis. Like, that can be so huge when you have, a support system around you that also is pushing for these same things. And even if, someone listening doesn't have that, you can be that person in your family's life. Like, you can be the first one to kind of get on this healthy lifestyle train and, start to change things in your life. I'm sure you guys have both seen it, at times. Like, for me, when I started to really get into health and fitness, it started to affect my family, and they started to eat a little bit healthier and do things a little bit more, with a health conscious, and focused into that. And you never know who you can affect with it, and they can affect you at the same time.
So Janis,
right?
You asked, or a lot for listeners out there too, this podcast was planned around 8 hours ago. But Janis asked me, she's like, why are you having me on the podcast? And Janis, what we just talked about just now is the reason
that's why
this podcast. I'm a father. you inspire the hell out of me. And you always think I'm bullshitting when I say that, but no. It's people like you who inspire me. John's going to be a father soon.
Not soon, guys.
No, but I really want to say that's why you're on this podcast. You are an inspiration. And it's people like you who make our day better. It's people like you who are inspiring the hell out of other people to get moving and to get control of their life. So thank you, Janis.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to wrap this podcast up. Janis, where can people find you at? Facebook, Instagram, where can they find you at?
Yep, I'm on Facebook. It's Janis Fusey Kowalczyk. And then my Instagram is just Janis K, JANISKAE. Not very much more on Facebook, but
you can find her on 5 a.m. at the gym.
Exactly. Yes, you can.
All right.
5 days a week, but on Saturday I sleep in. I come in later.
Hey, no worries.
Probably that. John, what else you got for us before we wrap things up?
Today.
Hey, no worries. You made it through. You did great. But no, that's about it, guys.
I don't know how.
You made it. It was good. And then if you could just can't talk. If you could just give us a follow on iTunes podcast and maybe even a review, that would be great, guys. And then other than that, unless Ben has anything else, that's about it.
I got something else. Janis.
Okay, what?
Janis.
What was it?
Do pineapples go on pizza?
Absolutely.
Janis, if you could be in one 90s music group, who would you be in? Last question.
If what?
If you could be in one 90s
I didn't get that question.
If you could be in one 90s music group, who would you be in? It could be solo, it could be a group.
You're performing.
90s? Oh,
yeah,
my
90s.
goodness. Ooh. Got to be the Backstreet Boys then. I wouldn't be a boy, but I'll be in it.
Who would you be?
Oh.
Justin Timberlake?
I don't know.
Oh
my gosh, that's tough. I'm not a boy, so. Yeah, but Justin Timberlake, he was in NSYNC, so that makes it awkward, right?
Oh.
Not bad.
Wrong one.
All right, well, Backstreet Boys it is. That's awesome. Because at the next boot camp, we're going to have you perform. So
there we go. Live.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you guys for tuning in.
Michael Jackson fan.
Huh?
I'm a Michael Jackson fan.
Ooh, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. All right, man. Let's wrap things up here. Thank you again, Janis, for joining us. We will share this Monday night. And also, make sure you guys tune in for our next episode of the podcast. We have a very special guest coming your way. Make sure you guys tune in.
See ya.
Thanks.
See you guys. Peace.